This episode of Catch the Craze is brought to you by
Egoraven returns to Kickstarter in its first trade paperback, collecting issues 1 through 4 in one full-color volume. Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be. Dragons overtake her kingdom, and how she trains to become a knight with the help of an unusual trio of blacksmiths. It's a mature audience telling of the classic hero's journey with a soap opera twist, so check out Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 1 today.
What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have a very close friend of the show, Miss Daphne Lage. She's going to be talking to us about Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 1 trade on Kickstarter. Coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. That cracks me up every time. Another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live tonight. It is September 6th, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. here in New York City. And in Texas, it is 8 p.m. But if you are joining us from, it's 7, that's right. If you're joining us from anywhere else in the world and you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, comment below, hit that bell so that you know when we are going live.
Word.
And and join us. Help us get to 1,000. We're at 625 right now. So thank you very much to every single one of you who come on, check us out. And thank you for everyone who's watching right now. Right before we bring in Miss Daphne Lage, George the Dodger. Oh, yes.
I came in the door. I said it before. I never let the mic magnetize me no more. I said, boom, guess who stepped in the room?
Oh, shit. Wow. Anyway, with that
shout out to Spider. Shout out to Spider on Twitch. He's a gamer. He's an artist, and he's just recently subscribed to the channel. He's been on my live streams. Spider, I didn't forget you. I will be drawing that character that you recommended. I got you.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
What's up, Base Stop in the house?
What up, Paul? Oh, big announcement. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. What Paul's got going on. But yeah, Sammy. So what you got going on? I know you have exciting news in about I don't know, 19 days,
16 days. No, 14 days.
14 days.
Diablo.
Math is all off.
What up?
14 days.
Yes.
It's the launch of issue numero 3.
Yes, Chihuahua. Have you signed up yet? First of all, thank you to the 123 of you who signed up. This is crazy. It's a record for Duty. Duty is exciting. He's just waiting for you to turn those pages on Chihuahua. When he finally gets into the house and he meets Herman, who thinks Duty's a talking jalapeno. Que eso? What is that? And let's see. You have the government after Duty. You have the Chihuahua. You have some bees. You got a whole lot of stuff going on there. But that's not all. There's also, it's a double feature. And this one is Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. I just finished the book today. It's going out to get proofed tonight. And so it's a double feature. Duty's Monsters is a standalone story. It's the first of 3 issues, and it is a stretch goal. And if it's unlocked, you add it to your basket. It's going to be fun. It's crazy. It's a lot of stuff. And if what's up, Indie Comics Network? Indie his ass.
What up, Nita? What's going on?
I always read it as it is, and then I'm like, oh, then I remember the name behind it.
I know it's hard to keep up, man.
I know.
It's hard to keep up
I
with the
always read it
names.
out, and they're like, "It's me, Sam." I was like, "Oh, damn."
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm excited. 123 people have signed up. Trying to, we're trying to take it as far as we can before we launch. And I have some surprises, bro. I got some goodies in the bag. You're gonna have to be there for the live launch on the 20th, right here on Cast the Craze podcast, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's some crazy stuff. And if we're funded on the night of the live launch, I'm gonna raffle off an original painting. I'm gonna raffle off a T-shirt. It's gonna be some cool stuff, and so you want to be there. It's going to be fun, but there's some really good goodies in the basket. Doing the last two conventions, I got a lot of good ideas from families, from parents. So I'm incorporating some of those things on this campaign. So wait till you see. It's going to be fun.
Right, that's right. We have that going on. Make sure you sign up. If you haven't done so yet, do so right now. Right now, get in there and sign up. Link is in the chat. I'm sure it's going to be on there if it's not already.
Yes. Where's Vanna? Herman.
Herman. Now Herman's getting blamed. Damn. Woo. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know. Can you believe this is what, episode 460?
Yeah, folks.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah. And you know what? Daph's been in a few episodes. She may be the one that's been in the most. I mean, she was back. She was on the episode number 167 2 years ago.
Live at the Comic-Con, right?
No, when we brought the show back. This is when I'm talking about when we brought it back.
Oh, when we brought it back.
Because she was on the show obviously before that. Then she came on here, episode 224, which is about a year ago. She had stuff going on. Then she came on 281, 402, 460. So she's
you know what it is?
With us.
It's like the building where from the episode of Friends where everybody lives in the same building and she just comes over for dinner. That's basically what it is. It's like, hey, I'm coming over. All right, let's do this. And Daphne's also been an official sponsor and is the official sponsor of this episode and a few more episodes of Cast the Craze. So she knows how to play the game. She plays to win. So she has the secret sauce. So if you like to cook, you go into her kitchen because she has the secret sauce. I'm just telling you.
That's right. So just on other stuff that's going on behind the scenes with us. First of all, I want to give a big shout out. Paul Hayden is in the chat. He is chilling. He has ASAP Imagination is his handle on Instagram. You guys want to check that out because we are working with Paul on a story called Animatronic. And this is a little different. So basically what Paul has done is he's managed to convince 9 of us to write.
Bamboozled.
I did that. Hoodwink, laid astray, run them up.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you're drinking at the table. And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna write that script, right? Yeah, I got you." Like, and then the next morning, you got the document on your steps. It goes, "All right, begin." I'm like, "Begin what?" You agreed to something.
He's good. No, but all jokes aside, so he has this idea for an anthology, basically, and it's an anthology because it's 9 different writers, 9 different artists working on a project, but the project is for one single story. So what's going to happen is he just wrote the first 10 pages of a story called Animatronic on Saturday on his IG. So you guys want to follow him on IG. On Saturday, he's going to go into a hat and he's going to pull a name out of a hat. Now, one of the names that he's going to be pulling, it's going to be either Sam's, it's going to be mine. He's got a few other people, and let me just give him a quick shout out. Angus Day, L.A. Cunningham, Chess, D.W. Howard, Lucy Shaw, Dre the Brute Daniels, Endless Mile Studios. I mean, he's got some.
These names sound like sitcom characters. I'm telling you.
It sounds like the story right there. So he's going to pull out one of those names, and that person now has to write the next 10 pages.
Word.
In 10 days, or I think it's every 2 weeks. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong.
Every 2 weeks, yes.
He's going to pull out another name out of the hat, and that person has to take over from wherever that last writer wrote the 10 pages. So we're going to be passing this along, and then once the story's finished, then he's going to have 9 artists drawing these pages. So if you want to get down, if you're an artist and want to get down, make sure you follow Paul over at ASAP Imagination on Instagram,
Word.
or email him at asapimagination@gmail.com and let him know you want to get down. So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a
Yes.
good
If he
time.
happens to put my name on the hat on Saturday, I won't know about it till Monday because I'll be away. So George, you just got to DM me and let me know.
Yeah, you're next, buddy. Yeah, so that's happening. That's fun. We got involved with that. Big shout out to him. And it's gonna, just so you guys know, the final product will then be sold, obviously, and all proceeds are going to go to a charity called Free Arts NYC. Free Arts NYC empowers youth from underserved communities through art and mentoring programs to develop their creativity, confidence, and skills to succeed. freeartsnyc.org. So all the proceeds from the book that's sold will then go to that charity to help support free arts.
Word.
City. So thank you very much, Paul. That was all him, and we're looking forward to it. It's a nice project to be involved with, and we're happy to do it. So that's going to be happening in the next few months. That's going to be fun. Also, if you haven't done so yet, Morgan Quaid is a friend of the show's. Also, he's got a podcast called what is it called? It's called
You were just on it.
Yeah, I was just on it, and I'm looking for the name of it now. Because I'm an old man. It's gonna be fun. Thank you both. Yes, it is, sir. The very occasional podcast with Morgan Quaid. I was just on the fun show. You guys got to check it out. His editing that he does on these podcasts is hysterical. He's a very funny guy. Yes. So check out the very occasional podcast.
Yes, I'll be on it. I'll be on it in October.
Yeah, so check that out. His next person is going to be Shaden Dew. She's coming on in a few days. Premieres 9/12. How you do, Shaden Dew? But yeah, check that out. That was fun. That was a lot of fun to do. And I will be on with the nerds later on, talking She-Hulk, talking. I saw the Lord of the
Rings is fire.
Okay.
Yo, you whack. I don't want to hear it.
No, it's not. Listen, stop. Stop. Calm down. Relax. Easy, family.
I want to hear it. Hater.
Go ahead, look, take it easy.
Fake news.
Bro, no, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just not my, everybody's got their own thing. I'm not really into it. I was never into it. I'm just
this is fire.
It's not my genre. I don't enjoy it. Yeah. I do, however, like House of the Dragon. I am enjoying that. But
this is beautifully
beautifully
rendered. I mean,
I will tell you this. No, it's beautifully. It looks beautiful, and the score is off the hook. Yeah. Like it looks like a motion picture score. Yeah. $58 million. I think an episode or something like that. I think it's some outrageous number that they have. I don't know.
Can I be the sound guy on that?
Yo, dude, that's it. Yo, their budget is off. If they can give some money to She-Hulk, that would be great. Because they could use some of that for that.
She-Hulk is just goofy. She-Hulk is goofy.
But even the visuals, like I'm just talking about the visuals, not even the story. The visuals, like
out of control.
Insane, dude. Insane.
It took Lord of the Rings to another level with visuals, because Lord of the Rings, the film by Peter Jackson was brilliant. This took it to a whole nother level. What they did with this was fantastic.
But I will say, Lord of the Rings set the bar for CGI even when that came out. Yeah, no, I agree, Anita. House of the Dragon is totally epic. This last episode that just passed, off the hook. But yeah, no, I mean, Peter Jackson, what he did back then, and this was what, 2000, early 2000s? What year did that come out? So what he did with that movie set the bar for what CGI was going to look like in movies. Yeah, moving forward from there, right? Now it looks like this show, for example, is doing the same for streaming, and I don't know that a lot of streaming services can compete, because I don't think that they can afford it.
No, because they got Jeff Bezos money, so they got Bezos. He's like, yo, just make it popping.
I'll tell you this: that is a rich story with tons of characters. And there are so many stories within the story.
Yeah, I love her. What's the name? I forgot her name. The elf. She is fantastic. I love the way they're pacing her character. I loved the relationship between the dwarf and the elf. And how he was so upset that he wasn't there for his the birth of his child and married his wife. I just love those stories within the stories. I thought I'm enjoying every minute of it. I'm like, yo, this is.
I was watching that and I was like, yep, Sam's probably right now under his blanket.
I'm like,
watching this thing. He's like, yeah, I love it. I was like, yeah, not for me. it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, and if you like this genre, you're gonna love it. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
all I know is that I was like, I'm freeze framing things. I said, how can I capture a scene like that in my comic? I was like, what? Like every time, like, look at that angle, look at that. I'm like, I was just like, I kept pausing. It was just beautiful. What's up, Aurelius in the house?
Aurelius in the house. Well, listen, it's we're
Yes,
at the
it's that
15-minute
time.
mark. Why don't we bring her in, man? Let's talk.
Let's bring in the guest of honor. She's been waiting, to kill the game as she always does. Look, Independent, stand back because we're bringing in the real one. Let's get this done. Welcome, Daphne, Lage, to the show.
Well, I mean, it's like, look, the secret sauce is that I microwave everything. That's what it is. That's
microwave.
Daphne, I'm gonna make some people jealous right now.
Oh, okay. All
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, like you and Sam.
Copy.
Yeah, I was like you, Sam, and like 3 other people were lucky enough to get preview copies of the trade paperback.
I gotta say, it didn't stop me from pledging to the new one.
So thank you very much.
I can't wait to get, because this one isn't the final version. So I like to compare. I like to see where you go.
There's some slight, there's some slight changes. Yeah, it's like well, look, when I got that from the printers, it is like I go, oh, it's perfect. I just have to do a couple of things.
It's perfect, but it just needs a little tweaking.
Exactly.
Oh man, Daph, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
are a repeat offender. You're a repeat offender.
Just like Law and Order. Yes.
Yes, you do manage to stumble into the craze from time to time.
Like you said, we live in the same building. Actually, no, we don't. But it's like we always end up in each other's house anyway, right?
There you go. No, but thank you so much. Welcome back. This is what is this? This is the 5th campaign for Egoraven, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like I'm actually a little surprised I made it this far. It felt just like yesterday I was launching the first issue and like
no. Well, listen, the last time you were here, it was May. Okay. And you had the other campaign going on, issue 4. And at that time, you mentioned that you were working on issue number 7.
Yes.
So where are you right now?
Oh, okay. Well, since then I learned a lot about scheduling. And I figured and what happened was that I learned that my schedule might have been a little too ambitious, so I had to make a little adjustments. But right at this moment, I am 4 pages away from completing issue 6 in terms of having it flatted and everything. So all I have to do is just color. So I just have to finish inking the first 4 pages, the last 4 pages of issue 6. Issue 7 is completely penciled. So then I'm just going to start moving on to that one. And then I am 21 pages in on issue 8. For layout wise, I haven't not tight pencils, just the layouts. And my goal is to have these books pretty much done about before the end of the year, so that early next year I can proof those issues and volume 2 of the trade paperback.
Sweet.
Yeah, which I have the cover sketched out for the trade paperback as well. So, awesome. And the thing is, though, I had to tweak my schedule a bit because in the middle of everything, I had to write a novel.
You had to.
I had to write a novel. So that really kind of. That really kind of made me rethink my schedule a bit. But and the novel, which is the continuation of the 15 issues of Egoraven. So I'm literally it's literally a continuation of that. And I just finished that the other day, around 67,000 words.
So I listen. Normally we would go into tell us who you are, introduce yourself. Listen, if you guys want to know that, go back to the 4 other episodes we have where Daphne tells you exactly who she is, where she's from, or catch her on Mondays and Fridays on your show. Now you guys changed the name of the show.
We're still the Rage Into the Vlogs show, but it was the network that we changed the name to. It just so we're still Rage Into, like Rage Into is still like kind of like the parent company,
Got
and
it.
then the Indie Comics Network is the name of our channel.
Got it.
So it was a strategic change that Nita made because it's like just by making that one page, we went from page 15 to Google to page 1 on
Yeah.
Google.
Oh wow. Good for you guys.
So yeah,
Listen,
so
big
we were
shout out
always
to
playing around with that.
Nita
Yeah.
Lanning. She's the
Uh-huh.
brains. She's
Yes,
the brains
yes.
back there. So big shout out to
Uh-huh.
her. And make sure you guys check out
She's
Indie
the
Comics
brain
Network.
and the brawn.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
exactly. I just
sometimes-
feed her the graphics.
I'm just saying, you
I
know.
just feed her the
Sometimes you
graphics
gotta
for the
be
network to
both.
make it look
Sometimes,
pretty.
You know,
Right.
You gotta be
she's got
both.
the hammer.
Yeah.
but I say that because I have so many questions, Daph,
Mhm,
about your
sure.
process, your creative process,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, the story itself. I definitely want to dive into Egoraven because it's a very fun story. And it was just funny because we were just talking about Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. And like I said, and I was telling Sam, my thing isn't elves. I'm
Right.
not into elves, dwarves, and all
Right.
this other stuff.
Uh-huh.
But this story doesn't feel like it's just about elves and stuff like that.
Right.
I think what I like about it is that it's centered in reality in a little bit. You call it a
Right.
soap opera,
Right, yeah,
what
yeah.
you call it. So did you purposely do it that way so that people like me wouldn't be like, it's elves, let me just not read that? Like, what was your strategy behind writing?
Well, the funny thing about it is that when I specifically remember when I was really putting the story together, there was two things that I really wanted to kind of get in the story. Is that I was a little tired of the stereotype of elves being this really like ethereal,
Oh,
this
kills me.
race and whatnot, that everything they do and flowing hair and whatnot.
Oh.
I wanted to do a story where the elves are actually assholes.
Job well done. Job well done.
So that's one. And with the dragons, at the time there was this whole thing. I don't know, when I was doing this whole thing again about dragons being a noble race and whatnot. And I took the same thing with that, where it's like, okay, like the elves and the dragons are kind of like not noble races whatsoever. So that was just me messing around with what I was seeing a little too much of at the time, and just deciding to work with that in the story. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like, look, I love Lord of the Rings. It's like, pretty much everything is based on this, is that's the foundation
You
for
can't
my
help it,
work.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can't
help
help
it,
it.
right? But especially lately, though, I mean, it's like I'm a little, I've been more influenced by The Witcher, which is a little bit
Oh, yeah.
grimier.
I love the
And
Witcher.
yeah,
I like
so
that. Yeah, I really like that.
that's kind of, and also the thing is too, is that, like I write the story what I want to see, what I want to read. And the thing is, though, is like the thing with the Lord of the Rings is that there's just all encompassing story. It's about the Great War and this, that, and the other thing. And what I wanted to do is write a more intimate story, where it's about the characters and their relationships. There's this thing going on in the background, right? That there's this war that's percolating. But the thing is, though, is that the story is really not about that. The story is about pretty much kind of like a fish out of water type of thing, where it's like you have Egoraven who's trying to maneuver her way in this world where magic exists, but it's like, depending on where you are, people are kind of into it or not into it. And in the end, it's like, it's like no matter what happens, it's like she still has to fit in somehow. It's like even before she can, like even think of, of getting back her kingdom. So it's like, well, how does she, it's like, how does she live in this world that she's not familiar with, but there's also still a certain familiarity with it because, everybody has friends, everybody has, people they react to and whatnot. So this shouldn't be the same. It shouldn't be any different.
Yeah.
It's just that she's a half unicorn, and it's like, oh, she doesn't quite fit in, but it's kind of, it's like I just prefer a more intimate story. And I guess because of that, what I've noticed is that a lot of people relate to the story more because I'm not talking about big, lofty ideas. I mean,
No,
not
but
that the story's dumbed down,
no. I was
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Uh-huh.
So because and that's what I wanted to ask about was the world
Right.
building because you do have your own lore
Yeah.
within the
Yeah.
story. You have your own
Yeah.
gods. You have your
Mhm.
own. So you do have
Yeah.
a rich story behind the story.
Mhm.
Did you start building the world before you even wrote a single issue of the book, or are you building the world as you're writing your issues?
The
How do you work that out?
I am a pantser, what they call when it comes to writing. It's like there's
Mhm.
a plan. I think it's called a planner or a pantser, and I'm definitely a pantser. I am constantly making stuff up as I go along. I mean, usually I start off with an initial idea, but then it's like it's as I go along do I actually start putting things together. Because the thing is, lore is important no matter
Yeah,
what kind of story that you
yeah,
do, because there's this whole thing where people talk about, oh, fantasy needs to be realistic and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, it's not that fantasy needs to be realistic. Your lore has to make sense in the context of the world that you're writing in.
right.
So, and the thing is, though, is that just because you're writing fantasy or anything doesn't mean that your story can be a free for all. Your story has to make sense. The rules of your world have to make sense to the reader, regardless of what it is, so that the story makes sense to them.
Mhm.
So as I'm going along, I'm always trying to make sure that the rules, at least the rules of my world, are consistent enough that the story is that the story works for anybody who comes into it. Like I said, I have this novel, and that's kind of one of the things that Nita has is kind of reading it right now.
Yeah.
And I told her the thing that I really wanted to know is if everything makes sense together, that nothing kind of like feels like, well, why did you do this and where
Yeah,
did this come from?
because you can get lost in that world.
Right,
Like if
exactly.
it's too big, you can get
Yeah.
lost
Well,
in that
right. And
huge
that's the
world.
thing too, because it's like I've seen way too many people, well, they'll spend years world building and never write a single
I
word of
know,
story.
I know.
So that's a
Yeah.
great
Uh-huh.
segue because how did you segment your plotting out the story? My approach is always where it's I identify how many chapters and what the title and theme is per chapter, and then from that point on, I start with the building. How did you
Right.
approach yours?
I'm trying to. Well, you see, it's been so long since I wrote the script to the comic book series. I'm trying to remember what exactly I did,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think it was the equivalent of I had a lot of cool scenes in my head. I go, okay, here are my cool scenes, and and they're just random at this point. And then I look at them and I say, okay, how do I put these scenes together?
Mhm.
And then what I do is I start, okay, now it's like, let me start making the beats that I want to hit in the story and see where these scenes fit in.
Right.
And then like eventually it all kind of starts to make sense. That's kind of what happened with the novel. I had all these random scenes that they would just pop into my head, and I would just write them down and put them to the side. Didn't really think about it until I got so many of them. I literally was able to string a story together. So it's about the same thing with the comic from what I remember. It's just like I had these scenes, and then it's like, okay, how do I knit these scenes together? And then, and then it's like, okay, so here's the story. Now, how do I break it down per issue?
And at what
Yeah.
point did you decide that you wanted to write this your prose? That you wanted to convert your story into it? Where
Well,
what was the trigger?
oh, well, it wasn't. Well, I'm not converting anything to prose, although honestly, it really did initially intend to be another comic book series. There was a couple of things. So prose was always something that I liked doing. I mean, technically the first Egoraven thing that I did was the short story that I wrote, the prequel. And then I went into the comic. So the prose, like I said, it was originally supposed to be a comic, but the more I sat down, the more I was really working on it and setting up my schedule, I realized that if I wanted to tell my story, I can't, it's not feasible for me to do it as a comic. So I started like thinking about, okay, so how do I, could I do it in prose? Would people who read comics convert to prose? If I, it's like, if I do enough illustration, so it's going to be an illustrated novel that this is going to be. The funny thing is that the more I started working on it, I realized it had to be a novel. Because if I did it as a comic, I would be telling a completely different story than what I wanted to tell. And prose allows me the format to tell the story that I wanted, because there are just certain things that don't work as a comic. That you can be a little meandering, you can start, you can kind of spend more time of characters navel gazing and whatnot, that you can't do in a comic, or else one, it's going to be boring,
Right.
or two, it's just going to bloat up the story. And it's like it just didn't work as a comic. Like the comic would have to be a completely different story, even though it would technically be the same story, but it would be a different story than what I had wanted to tell. Because the comic would have had to have been more action oriented when the novel is more emotional centered.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's like once I committed to an illustrated novel, and it took me a lot of time going back and forth, because I'm still a little concerned about that transition between comics to people buying a novel. But it's like, look, for me, it's more important to tell the story that I want than to kind of worry about those demographics.
Because it
See, I
requires
think-
two different. I'm sorry, it requires two different mindsets, especially
Yeah.
from a marketing approach.
Yeah,
You know,
but I also think that's what you're doing. You're building your fan base through the 15 issues. You
Right.
build a fan base to transfer them, to your point, Sam, so that audience now becomes the audience that's going to read
Right.
the book, because they want
Right.
more.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, though, it's like, and I know that there are going to be people who are going to go, oh, it's not a comic, I don't want to read that. That's
Right.
too much reading. So I'm going to have to accept the fact that I'm going to have some losses with that. But honestly, if they really are a fan of the story and a fan of the characters, they're going to have to either push through that or miss out. Although there are certain things extra things that I know I have to do, where it's like, if I do a novel, I definitely have to do an audiobook to go with it, because then it's like, okay, if you don't want to read it, here's the audio version of it, which a lot of people find more accessible anyway. So it's just, yeah, it requires a little bit more thinking about, it's like, how I'm going to make this. I mean, I'm not concerned about it not being viable. I'm doing it anyway. It's like, on one hand, I don't care very much about the audience per se, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I put out a product that they will enjoy, and that it's like, I'm not just doing it for an audience of one. I mean, it's kind of it's just kind of weird the way I look at things when people are like, oh, it's like, well, you can't do this book like this because of the audience. And it's like, nah, this is how I want to tell the story. So either they're on board or they're not.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
I agree 100%. For those who just joined us, we are talking to Daphne Lage. She's got Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn Volume 1 on Kickstarter right now. So if you haven't done so, hit that link in our chat and check that out. You're talking about an audiobook, Daphne, and I think that would be very helpful for some of the names, as cool as they are. The pronunciation of the names always gets me. How did you come up with these names?
It's like, usually what I do is play around with translators. And I just play around with, it's like, I just play around with Google Translate, and, so it's like, okay, there's this particular word. What, it's like, how would it sound? How would I combine it? It's like that's kind of how I do it. I mean, the novel kind of really gets into that because it's like I use a lot of like combination like Serbian and Norwegian words, and it's kind of and it's like, and then it's like there's the whole fantasy element. You put a little apostrophe in there and you're good to go. It's like, but like on my website, I put a glossary for some of the words, and I recently went back in to put in a pronunciation guide.
Nice.
Because I realized that I have been working on this book, on these comics for so long and the story for so long that I realized that not a lot of the words I never said out loud. Like it looked good on paper, but even I was like, wait, how do I say this? So I had to, so then it's like, okay, so I wrote down the pronunciations, and then I made a pronunciation guide on the glossary so that even more, even as a reminder for myself.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, to use as an example, there's kind of like a gag with Egoraven's name where Egoraven is actually a phonetic pronunciation of what her name was supposed to be, but her mother couldn't pronounce it because it's High Elvish and she doesn't speak High Elvish. And I got the idea, pretty much Egoraven has the Elvish equivalent of the name Aquafina, so the way I got to that name was that I was looking at Welsh and Gaelic pronunciations and Swedish pronunciations, where how kind of like it looks like it should be pronounced a certain way, but then when you hear a native speaker say it, it looks nothing like the words you're looking at. So I was playing around with that idea, and then that's how I got the explanation as to why Egoraven's name is Egoraven. It's just a play on that, on pronunciation guides. So it's like, just play around with Google Translate.
You'll come up with names.
Yeah, exactly. You just mush some words together until you get something.
And that's awesome.
Nice.
So this campaign, that it's for the trade.
Yes, it's
for the first 4 issues of the book.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that people can expect within the campaign itself?
Oh, well, so this is, like you said, this is the trade paperback collecting issues 1 through 4 of the of the main storyline, Heir of the First Unicorn. And to tell you the truth, I'm actually a little surprised as to how the campaign is doing. I wasn't expecting a trade paperback to be doing this well. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting it. I mean, I have a lot of regulars coming in, and I have a lot of new people coming in. I wasn't expecting my regulars to come in because they have the first 4 issues already. So so with the trade paperback, and well, because of that, I wasn't expecting it to kind of perform like individual issues. I decided to do a couple of different things with the campaign, which is offer up reprint variant covers. Well, variant cover reprints of the first issue of Egoraven, because I can't do variant covers on a trade paperback. It's just not feasible. So if you are kind of hesitant to back this campaign because you like collecting variant covers, I have variant covers exclusive to this campaign. I have this. So this is one of the variant covers. We had a friend of ours kind of semi come out of retirement. He worked with us. Well, we worked with him on La Blue Girl, on Tenchi Muyu, on Demon Beast Invasion back in CPM. I mean, we were, to give a little context, we were kind of like the first people to do original manga in the United States. So it was just really nice to get him back to do this variant cover. And so it's like, so this is a reprint of issue 1. And it has this variant cover, which is exclusive to the campaign. So whatever gets pledged, that's what I order. That's it. There's not going to be any extras at the end of the campaign. So if this is something, and it comes in a virgin cover and also a holo foil. So if you want to get the set, you have to do it during the campaign, because like I said, it's going to be exclusive to this campaign. So that's kind of thing. And also it's like, and also what I'm doing different too is because since sketch covers are usually popular for me, again, can't really do that to a trade paperback. So I have sketch bookmarks. Oh, and also it's like if we reach 100 backers, we're gonna add unlock this sticker that all the physical orders are going to get, and we're like 9 people away from 100 backers, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so I have sketch bookmarks because I figured this is a trade paperback, so you're gonna need something anyway. Actually, I have an example of that here. So this is an original piece of artwork. Yeah.
Screen. Hold on.
Yeah. So this is an original piece of artwork. So as you can see right here, right? And it's in this protective sleeve. It comes with a nice tassel, and you can literally use this as an actual bookmark on your trade paperback. So so this is one of the ways I'm kind of like playing around with offering, offering special things with a trade paperback that like would be easier to do on a regular issue because people kind of expect that. But with a trade paperback, it's like, okay, I have to be a little bit more creative with what I'm offering. So yeah, so that's an example.
That's a great idea. Very innovative.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I really.
How do you get that, Daph? How do you get that bookmark?
Amazon.
No. I'm saying like on the campaign.
Oh, because if you wanted to make it, you can get the sleeves on Amazon.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it either comes it comes as a set with you can buy one of the levels comes with the volume 1 with the bookmark, and yeah, you can just get everything together on a level.
Yeah, no,
and also the thing is too is that just because I'm offering a trade doesn't mean I'm discontinuing the individual issues. So if you're coming to this campaign and you missed the previous campaigns, but you still want to collect the individual issues, I have issues 1 through 4 on this campaign. I was originally supposed to discontinue everything and just stick with the trades, but I had so many people saying, could you kind of so we like collecting the comics, So I go, you know what? You're right. There's no reason for me to discontinue these. The variant covers, yes, those are discontinued, but the individual issues, if you still want to get them, they are available on this campaign. So yeah, it's just like trying certain things. Yeah, I like I said, I was a little concerned about how a trade paperback was going to perform, so I tried to throw as much as I could at it to kind of give it a little boost. And like I said, the way it's performing, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm right.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. Are you going to be compiling them every 4? I guess it's 15 issues, so you're going to have to do a larger one at some point.
Right. Well, you see that's the thing, because it's like the more I work on the series, the more I'm kind of realizing I might have to add extra pages to that back end, because there's certain scenes where it's like they're not really going to work out layout wise. So I'm either going to have like a really, really thick issue somewhere near the end, or I might have an issue 16. I'm not sure. Gotcha. I just haven't gotten to that yet. So, so either way, that last issue is going to get filled out somehow, because like I said, there's certain scenes where I realize like, yeah, I can't be skimpy on those.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, and as you've seen, I mean, I've had these books proofed since last year.
Yeah.
I'm very strict with that rule. That's why it's like my schedule is kind of like that. I try to keep it like that because I want to be as far ahead of myself as possible. I mean, it's like just to show you, I already have a proof for issue 5 that comes after this campaign.
Right.
So this is, here you go. You're getting a sneak peek. This is the proof for issue 5. That's like
very
comes
Beauty
after.
the Beast-esque.
Yes, it's very deliberate. I love referencing movies in my in the story, I make a lot of references, just like in Tall Tales. There's a lot of Disney references in Tall Tales. You know, I always tell people it's like find the Little Mermaid. Ariel is in Tall Tales somewhere. You know,
Gotcha,
you have to
gotcha.
go look. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
so I'm always doing little references like that. So this is issue 5, which comes out after. That's the campaign where this I'm launching sometime in November. And again, a little exclusive here. This is going to be this is the Jaden Lanning
Nice.
variant.
Oh,
So
she's
this is going to
incredible,
be
man.
the exclusive variant for the campaign. Again, it's going to be like printed only to what yeah, there you go. That
Did-
to the campaign. But this is issue 5. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
issue
yeah.
5.
That's
So
incredible. Who
that
does
That
the
baby.
coloring? Does she do her own coloring
yeah, she
also?
does. She does.
Wow,
Wow,
Yeah.
she's fantastic.
that's
Yeah, no, she
amazing.
really is. I mean, she did some artwork for me for the next campaign that is just mind blowing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like she just gets better and better as I
yeah.
do more, as she does more work for me. I'm gonna have to keep that girl busy.
That I just going back to the story itself.
Sure.
I like some of the themes
Hmm.
that you've kind of thrown into the story. Alexandra, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
she's the girl on the
yeah.
cover there that's
Uh-huh.
marrying,
Yeah,
or it looks like they're marrying. So that whole storyline,
yeah.
was that part of the original story, or was that something you came up with, later on?
Wow.
Like, where
I
did that
mean, it's like,
storyline come from?
wow. It's like I'm trying to remember. I kind of, I mean, because the story changed so much over the years before
Right.
I committed to it. Into like to give you an idea, like the first issue that I did for Egoraven technically came out in 2000.
Mm,
That I started
right.
uploading it online onto my website. So it's like, as far as I can remember, that whole storyline with Alexandria was pretty much that's kind of the trajectory how it went,
That's
where it's like
great.
Alexandria is a baroness's is a baroness who is pretty much, she gets Egoraven entangled in this whole thing, trying to avoid an arranged marriage herself. And she ends up putting Egoraven on the pretty much on the spot. And that's where she gets the idea to train to become a knight.
Right.
Thinking it's like, okay, this is my chance. It's like, this is my chance to maybe get something done here and fight the dragons, because up until that point, I mean, it's like, Egoraven is exiled. Dragons take over her kingdom. Egoraven is exiled, and it's like, and she literally doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like just an opportunity that just like is forced onto her.
And for a while,
Yeah,
that not to cut you off, for a while,
yeah,
it seemed like she wasn't going to do anything about it. Right? As I'm reading the
right,
story, it seemed like she was just going about her life. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
she's there with her uncle and
right,
everything like
yeah,
that. But then that happens, and it's
uh-huh,
like, and the opportunity arises
yeah,
for her, like you said, train
yeah,
to be a knight, maybe gather an army and go
right,
back and
right,
and fight those dragons. So
right,
I mean, the pay and what I'm saying this because I enjoyed the pacing at
right,
which you brought that along. It's almost like I forgot all about that because I was
right,
just having a good time. She's
uh-huh.
hanging out with a fox, and he's a good archer, and you're
Right,
chilling.
like she's just
Morgan.
hanging out, right? It's
Yeah,
like she's realizing that, it's like, okay, maybe, being here isn't that bad.
right.
Because in the end, it's like, she's not she's raised to be royalty, not a fighter.
And she didn't feel like
It's
she fit in. She
right,
fit in that
exactly.
environment either. So she was like, I
Right.
don't fit in
So it's
anywhere.
like,
So
so
might as
now
well
she
just kind
finds
of say,
herself in this whole thing where it's like, oh, what am I? Okay, so all
yeah.
right, I'm with these 3 chill guys, so I guess I might as well just chill with them and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah,
But what happens is that this opportunity forces her to remember that it's like, you know what, you really kind of do have an obligation,
right.
to take care of. So
Well, getting
yeah.
punched in the face
Yeah, exactly.
really, really turned the
That'll
tide.
wake you up. That'll wake
That
you up a
that'll
bit.
let little punch in the face from a
Yeah,
dude
yeah.
might do it.
I mean, what's fun? People are a little surprised by that scene.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I just kind of have this whole thing, like just a general story thing, that it's like, oh, I love my characters so much, it's time to do horrible things to them, type of thing. It's like that's kind of like how I see it.
No,
Like,
but I love the
yeah.
way you paste that out, even because the
Mhm.
last panel on that page is her basically saying, you know what? Nah, we're
Right.
going to do this now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly.
I do
Yeah.
want the girl now. I didn't
Yeah.
want her. I didn't want her before. Now I
Right.
want her. It was
Yeah.
like that
Yes.
kind of thing, and it was really
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like pacing the story is, if I got anything out of, Will Eisner's class back at SVA, is learning to pace a story, and realizing that you can't just string images together. They have to mean something together.
Right.
You're telling a story. That's what makes comics so special. It's like, what story are you telling? Because it's like, I mean, not to sidetrack, but that's the reason why the whole AI thing, like, it doesn't really bother me personally,
No.
because in the end, you still have to tell a story.
It's too raw. That
Yeah,
thing can't do what you can do.
right,
Story-wise.
exactly.
You can't.
It's like,
Not yet.
so, well,
Yeah.
not yet, but it's
Yeah.
like, but like, you still, the story still matters.
Mhm.
It's not just, like I said, it's not just, picture, and then it's like, it's like, no, it's like the one big thing that the one thing that I like to practice on is, so I take a lot of Wally-Wood advice, pretty much, and what I like to work on is stories that don't have dialogue in it, so that, like, you should be able to tell your story before you put your dialogue in.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I look at it first. It's like, okay, can I see what the story is? I mean, I still need my dialogue. I still need my story, but can I still read the story without it, if I was just looking at the pictures?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the whole storytelling process as an
Yeah.
artist, right? You
Yeah.
have to be able
Yeah.
to tell. And
Mhm.
that's the thing. A lot of artists, you'll see a lot of artists who are incredible pinup artists,
Yeah.
and they do incredible covers. What up, Mike?
Hey.
But when it comes to telling a story, when it comes to the actual pages, the
Right.
actual
Yeah.
panels, they get lost in that because they don't
Right.
know how to
Right.
do that.
Well, but also, it's not so much that they get lost in it. It's more like the pages sell more. They sell for more money if they're all pretty and all pinups and stuff. So they're
Right.
more concerned. So too many art. Well, I mean, at least back when, it's like we saw way too many artists who were a little bit more concerned about the sellability of their pages rather than whether they were telling the story that they wanted or telling a story at all.
I just feel like a great artist or a great comic book artist makes every panel look like a panel you can put somewhere and sell it on its own. Like, and that's the art, that's the gift of a great,
I don't know, because it's like, because conversely, it's like, not every panel deserves that kind of detail. And especially now that, especially lately, these past 2.5 years, where I've been really cranking out this work, I'm actually trying to simplify my artwork. I mean, it's definitely like what I'm doing to, like, if you guys saw, well, you're going to see issue 6. I mean, the look of it is so different than what I used to do on Tall Tales. It's like, it's just like, it's like, I'm just realizing that it's like, what, it's like, there is something to simplicity.
I'll show you. You see that panel right there?
Yeah.
That's a simple panel.
Yeah.
But that panel right there, you could put it on a t-shirt and it sells.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like, it's beautiful.
Right.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Every panel, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like, the simplicity. It doesn't have to be this dope, dynamic panel on the top there. It could just be this guy right there, and that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's also the thing too. It's like, it's like, I just to paraphrase someone that I saw on Twitter, it's like dopey panel designs don't necessarily make for good storytelling.
True.
So so it's like, it's like, so everything that I put on paper, especially nowadays, is like, am I telling the story in this panel?
Right.
You know, and also the thing is, by simplifying my details, I actually find myself being more detailed, but in a different way, because now all my lines have to mean something, which is something that drove. uh, Will Eisner kept hammering that in me. It's like, stop doing all the doohickey lines. It's like your lines have to mean something.
Right.
And that's funny, because now it's like going, oh, that's what he meant. That's what he's talking about.
Nah, man, this looks great. This book looks amazing. I can't wait to see
Thank
the
you.
finished product that you
Oh,
have.
me too.
Yeah, and if you haven't done so yet, guys, and you're watching,
Right.
check out the Kickstarter. It's live right now. We do have a link in the chat if you guys want to check that out. But this is amazing.
Right.
So September 23rd is when it ends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have a little over 2 weeks left, which,
That's
like
right.
I said, to be where I'm at and to have 2 weeks left is like, it's crazy. I wasn't expecting to go this far on a trade paperback. So I'm like, oh my God, where is this going? Where is this ending up?
Absolutely.
Because I look like I have everything planned, but I'm flying on the seat of my pants here.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Good stuff.
I think you've done a fantastic job. I think your strategy is smart. I think every time you launch a new campaign, you have a new approach or something unique.
I'm
for
always
that
changing.
specific.
Yeah.
So I think and that's what works. I think it's it isn't stale. It isn't stagnant. I think you put your readers first.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're so successful with your crowdfunding campaigns.
Well, I'm only putting out what I want to read. It's like, this is the book I want to read, and I'm just fortunate that I'm like hitting the same buttons that a lot of people want to read too. And it's like, I always say it's like, oh, I create for an audience of one, but it's actually a lot nicer to share it with people. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you saying that.
you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much. But yeah, Daph, so you want to give us the pitch?
Oh, the pitch. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna give you the camera. You're gonna do your thing. You know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, because you would think, I would have this memorized by now, right? So it's like, I'm on. This is day 15 for Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, the first trade, and the prequel story, because you need the prequel story because unicorn girls don't come out of nowhere, so you need that prequel story. And I just want to thank everybody who's supported the campaign so far. We still have a couple of stretch goals to unlock. We have the art print. We have a really sexy metal bookmark, the 100 sticker, the 100 backer sticker goal. So let's go see how far this campaign can go. But yes, Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is the story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be. Dragons overtake her kingdom, but she finds herself training to become a knight so that she can, hopefully win win a king's favor and win back her kingdom. Will Egoraven find the strength to tap into the unknown power within her to return to her life as a future queen? Or will she find herself pulled back into the human world she was originally forced into? Who knows? Maybe she'll actually like being, hanging out with the peoples instead of, shitty elves and dragons, or something. Who knows? Things change, but that's part of the story, right? It's like, how does our hero change over the course of the story? So it's like, so follow along issues 1 through 4, Egoraven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its first trade paperback. There's more coming. It's out of a 15-issue series. And like I said, thank you very much for everybody for supporting the campaign. I can't thank you guys enough for that. So there you go.
Fantastic. There you go.
I'm sold. Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Daph, for being on here.
Oh, thank you.
Enlightening us with this story and your process and I'm always intrigued by people's writing process because there's no right way to do it, I guess.
Right.
It's just whatever it is.
Exactly. It's literally whatever works for you. It's like, the most important thing is like, are you telling the story you want to tell?
Right.
You know, that's it. It's like, regardless of the audience, regardless of, I mean, it's like, look, all that stuff is technical stuff, you know, the whole marketing and everything. But in the end, it always boils down to, are you telling the story you want to tell? And honestly, with this book, hell yeah, I am definitely telling the story I want to tell.
Good job. Good job.
Fantastic.
Thank you for being on, Daph. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you for having me on. It's like, so yeah, so we'll definitely do this again.
Oh yeah. What's going
Thank
on,
you.
Barney?
Anyway,
Thank you, Barney.
What's up, Barney?
Oh
Yes.
man, no, but thank you. And yeah, you're right. We're gonna do it again. You know?
Absolutely.
I don't know, maybe November. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
All right, Daph. Have a good night.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
you have a good night too.
You too.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Oops.
Oh,
How you doing? Hey,
There
Sam.
you go. Oh, so you know that was Daphne Lage, and again now she's up to 92 backers now. So we got a backer during the show. So you know, thank you for supporting the campaign. No, again, you know, it's this is someone who's a true professional, an independent true professional who takes her craft seriously. And again, she writes because she loves what she does and she loves to create. And I think, you know, she said it. You know, the audience of one. That's what trickle down effect, where when people recognize the passion and love that you put into your project, they will embrace it, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, no, she's listening. She does all of it. She you know, draws it, writes it, colors it, letters it. I mean, she does it all. And to be this far into it,
Yeah.
I mean, these pages are incredible, guys. So just check that out. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, big shout out to Daph. She's been doing this for a while. She knows what she's doing. You know, she's a professional, like you said, Sam. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see where Egoraven goes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
And don't forget, guys, right, Sam? What they got to do? Go sign up.
Yeah, sign up. Have you signed up for the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet? Issue number 3, I Chihuahua. Duty finally meets humans. He gets into a house, and there's a Chihuahua named Herman who thinks Duty's a talking jalapeno, and so the rivalry begins. This one is funnier. It takes off. You thought the first two were funny? This one's gonna have you giggling all the way to work, and your boss is gonna be like, "Why is he giggling so much?" He says, "Because I was reading about Duty." So yes, and there's a double feature. That she is, my friend. That she is, and it's a double feature. There's Duty Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. This is dope. There's a lot of great stuff coming from this campaign, and I just want to say thank you to the 123 people who have signed up already. You know, I am in awe. I am honored. I am humbled by that. I mean, I've never expected that many people to sign up, and so thank you so much. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited about that. So sign up if you haven't done so. The link is in the summary, and let's get it popping.
That's right. That's right. And thank you to everyone who joined us here on this live stream. Thank you so much to everybody who was in the chat and participated. If you haven't done so yet, you're in the chat, but you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Word. Check that out. You know, make sure you share it out to your friends. Say, yo, these guys do really cool interviews with some indies, man. Check that out. Share it out and let people know we're out there. We're out there. And don't forget, like even for myself, go to getyourmeds.com and pick up some of these t-shirts. Believe nothing. Let's go. Let's do it. And that's all I got tonight, Sammy. That's all I got.
That's all I got. And join us tomorrow night where we'll be here back live with Philip Russert to talk about Tragedy. His campaign on Kickstarter. He's also killing it on Kickstarter as well. So there will not be a morning brew on Thursday morning because I will be on a plane, but we'll be back next Thursday with the morning brew. So with that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It does not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
what? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.